I don't sleep anymore. Not the way normal people do. I close my eyes and I'm back there, in the graveyard, in that endless field of tombstones stretching to a horizon that doesn't exist. I hear soil settle, wood strain, breath that never needs air still trying to happen, and the voices under it, thin as wire. My name is Davrin Morse. I was a ranger once, tracker, guide, the kind of person who could find water in a desert or read weather 3 days out. I knew how to survive. Didn't matter where we went. See this scar on my chest? Straight line from collarbone to sternum. That's where Orcus touched me with his wand. For 3 seconds, I was dead. Completely dead. No heartbeat, no breath, no soul. Then he brought me back. Not out of mercy. He wanted me to understand what death felt like, so I could appreciate what he was offering. Want to know what he offered? First, you need to understand the ground I stood on when I heard it. 5 years ago, 4 of us descended into the abyss. We were hunting a demon that had been raiding villages. We tracked it to Thanatos, Orcus's realm. We thought we were prepared. Only I came back. The others are still there. Not their bodies, their souls. Trapped, aware under weight and darkness, begging me to come back and free them, and I could. Orcus told me how. All I'd have to do is accept his gift, take up the wand, raise them as undead. They'd be free from the coffin and the silence. We'd be together again. I said no. Every night I wonder if I was wrong. Pour me a drink, and I'll tell you why I'm not sure it was the right choice. Here's where we made our first mistake. We called ourselves the Dawn Seekers. Stupid name. The kind young adventurers pick when they think they're going to change the world. There was Mira, human wizard, 23, brilliant. She could calculate spell trajectories while dodging arrows, wore glasses that made her look younger than she was. She kept chalk behind her ear and corrected my angles under her breath. Kellen, dwarf cleric of Moradin. 200 years of wisdom wrapped in 4 feet of muscle and beard. He'd seen everything, until he didn't. He laughed like gravel in a bucket and carved little hammers into campfire coals. Thessa, half-elf paladin. She glowed when she prayed, literally. Her oath to Bahamut made her skin shine like dawn. She was the reason we called ourselves Dawn Seekers. At sunrise, she whispered a litany that made you want to stand straighter. And me, the ranger who thought he was smart enough to track demons. We'd been together 2 years, cleared a vampire nest, stopped a necromancer, saved a town from a dragon. We were good, really good. We trusted each other completely. That trust is what Orcus used against us. The demon we tracked was called Vrask. Lesser demon, Garistro type, big, dumb, murderous. 40 people dead across 3 villages. We cornered it in ancient ruins. Stone circle, demonic runes carved deep into the rock. I remember the heat, coming off those stones. Summer night, but the runes were cold, wrong cold. The kind that doesn't come from weather. He's trapped, I said. No escape. Then Vrask laughed, deep, wet, the sound of meat tearing. Trapped? You followed me here, to a place of my choosing. He touched the stones with one massive hand. They blazed, purple-black light that hurt to look at. Mira's face went white. That's not a dead portal, it's a beacon. The portal tore open. Reality split like cloth ripping. The air turned to copper. My lungs burned breathing it. The hand that reached through was 12 feet long, rotting flesh hanging off ancient bone. It grabbed Vrask like a child's doll, pulled him through. The portal stayed open, and a voice came from the other side. Old, older than mountains, amused. Visitors, how delightful. Consider this an invitation. Come in, join us. Let's see what you're made of. We should have run. Should have sealed the portal, should have fled and never looked back. But Thessa looked at that open gate and saw souls suffering on the other side. She was a paladin. She couldn't leave evil unchallenged. "We have to close it," she said. "From the other side. 5 minutes. In and out." She was right. We had to close it. Who knew what could come through? So we stepped into the abyss. Together, like we always did. The portal spit us onto gray soil. Gray. Everything gray. The ground, the sky, the tombstones. Tombstones everywhere. In every direction, to every impossible horizon. Tombstones. Millions. Billions. An infinite graveyard where the sky should be black, but instead hung purple bruised and sourceless. Like twilight that would never end. Like dusk, frozen forever. The smell hit me next. Not rot. I've smelled rot. Battlefields. Mass graves. This was different. This was the absence of life. Like someone had taken all the warmth out of existence and replaced it with cold earth and old bones and the memory of decay. My breath misted. Summer night when we entered. Winter here. Permanent winter. "How many graves?" Kellen whispered. His voice sounded wrong, muffled, like the air was too thick. I knelt, touched the nearest tombstone, the name worn away by time that didn't exist here, the date impossible to read. Then I felt it, under the earth, something aware, something trapped, someone buried alive, conscious, pressing thoughts against wood, unable to die. My hand jerked back. The stone was cold, grave cold, the kind of cold that gets into your bones and stays there. "They're all occupied," Mira said. Her voice shook. "Every single grave, there's someone down there." "This is where death goes to wait," I said. And I was wrong. This is where death stops. Forever. We started walking. What else could we do? The portal had sealed behind us. Forward was the only direction left. Our boots crunched on gravel paths between graves. Each step echoed wrong, too loud, too clear, like the plane itself was listening, watching. I'd tracked game through forests, through mountains, through deserts. I knew how to move quietly. Here, silence was impossible. Here, we were always heard. The graves went on, some fresh, disturbed earth, others ancient, stones cracked and tilting. I touched one without thinking, felt the soul inside, young, terrified, still aware after gods knew how long. I pulled my hand back, my fingers were numb. "Don't touch them," I said. "Don't touch anything." We walked for what felt like hours. The sky never changed. The temperature never shifted. Just cold, just gray, just tombstones stretching forever in every direction. Then we saw it. A hill. The only rise in the endless flat. At the top, a throne, made of skulls, thousands of them, and sitting on that throne, the thing that had pulled Vrask through. 12 feet tall. Humanoid shape, but wrong. Ram's skull for a head. Empty sockets. Massive curving horns. Rotting flesh, barely clinging to bones. Bat wings folded behind it like a cloak. Goat legs. Hooves. And in its right hand, a wand. Black wood. Tipped with a human skull that moved. That watched. That seemed more alive than the thing holding it. Vrask knelt at the throne's base. Not struggling. Not fleeing. Kneeling. Like a supplicant before a god. "That's Orcus," Kellen breathed. "Demon Prince of Undeath, Lord of Thanatos. That's not a lesser demon. That's a god." "We need to leave," Mira said. "Right now." Too late. The skull turned, looked at us. Empty sockets somehow focusing, seeing, understanding. "Adventurers," Orcus said. His voice was a tomb opening, deep, patient, interested, not angry, curious, like we were specimens. Fascinating insects. "I haven't had visitors in a decade, or a century. Time blurs here. Come closer. Let me see what mortality looks like these days." Thessa stepped forward, her hand on her sword hilt but not drawing, still trying diplomacy, still thinking words could work. "Great Prince," she said, her voice steady, strong. "We seek only the demon Vrask. We'll take him and leave your realm in peace." Peace? Orcus laughed. The sound echoed off 10 million tombstones, came back at us from every direction. Child, there is no peace here, only rest, only the quiet that comes after breathing stops. But you're welcome to try taking my guest. He came seeking asylum. I'm curious how you plan to extract him. We'll fight if we must, Thessa said. Her skin started to glow, her oath activating, divine light pushing back the gray. For a moment, just a moment, there was dawn in that twilight place. Orcus tilted his skull, considering. Let me understand this. 4 mortals, 1 Prince of Undeath. I wonder how you think this ends. Mira's hands moved, weaving, spell components, lightning crackling between her fingers, building charge. Chalk dust ghosted off her sleeve. Kellen raised his holy symbol, Moradin's hammer, starting a prayer. He drew a breath that sounded like a stone being set. I drew my bow, nocked an arrow. Thessa's sword came free, blazing, divine fire running down the blade. We were fast, we were good. We'd fought demons before, didn't matter. Orcus moved his wand, casually, like brushing away dust. Mira died first. Her lightning was half-formed, crackling, building, ready to strike. The wand touched her shoulder, just touched it. The spell died, fizzled. Her eyes went wide, confused. Her mouth opened, no sound. Her heart stopped, just stopped, like someone had turned off a switch. She fell forward, face first into gray soil, her glasses shattered, the smell of ozone from her interrupted spell. Then nothing, just gray soil and silence. 23 years, gone. 1, Orcus said, clinical, detached, counting. Kellen charged, roaring, his warhammer glowing white-hot with divine power. 2 centuries of faith channeled into one strike. His prayer rose, ancient dwarven words, calling Moradin, calling justice, calling down divine wrath on the Prince of Undeath. The wand touched his chest. The prayer died on his lips, cut off mid-word. The light went out of his hammer. His eyes went blank. His legs kept moving, momentum carrying him forward. 3 more steps, then he collapsed. Armor clattering, his hammer hit the ground. No ring, no echo, dead sound in a dead place. 200 years of wisdom, gone. 2, Orcus said. Thessa was already moving, her oath blazing around her, radiant, magnificent. She was dawn incarnate. Everything good about existence concentrated into one burning soul. She whispered Bahamut's name the way she did every sunrise. Her sword came down. Divine fire. Holy wrath. The blade that had slain vampires and devils and demons. The wand touched her wrist. Just brushed it. The fire went out. Not dimmed. Out. Like it had never existed. Her sword fell from numb fingers. She looked at me, tried to say something. Her mouth moved. No words. Her light faded, dimmed, died. She fell to her knees, then forward, the paladin who glowed like dawn, dead in the eternal twilight. 3, Orcus said. I couldn't move. My legs were stone. My hands shook too hard to draw. 3 friends, 3 seconds, all dead. The wand hadn't struck, hadn't stabbed, just touched. Death on contact, instant, absolute, final. Orcus stood. The ground shook. Graves trembled. He walked toward me, each step deliberate, slow. He wasn't rushing. Why would he? I was already caught, already his. He stopped in front of me. The wand hung at his side, patient, waiting. You're the tracker, he said. The one who followed my wayward guest across 3 villages. Impressive work. You're very good at finding things that don't want to be found. I tried to speak. Couldn't. My throat was closed. I'm going to show you something, Orcus said. A gift, so you understand what comes next. He raised the wand, touched it to my chest. Right here. This scar. I died. Not metaphorically, not almost. I died completely. My heart stopped, not slowed, stopped, like a clock winding down. Tick, tick, tick. Nothing. My lungs emptied. Couldn't refill. Didn't need to. My soul came loose, like a nail pulled from wood, like roots torn from soil. I felt the ripping, the separation, the wrongness of being pulled apart from myself. I felt myself leaving, rising, floating up from meat and bone and pain. There was light above, warm, impossible, beautiful. My grandfather stood in that light, smiling. Younger than I remembered, whole. The scar on his face from the war was gone. "Not yet, boy," he said. His voice was wind through leaves, summer rain, home. "But Something grabbed me. Not hands. Will made physical, intent given form. It yanked me down, back, into flesh, into weight, into gravity and breath and heartbeat. My soul slammed back into my body like a fist through glass. Impact, shattering, everything breaking at once. My heart started. Wrong. Too hard. Too fast. Painful. Thudding against ribs. My lungs filled. Gasped. Choked. Air was knives. Cold knives. I was back and my body remembered how to hurt. Orcus stood over me. Welcome back. I couldn't speak. Couldn't think. I'd been dead. Dead. I'd seen the light. Seen my grandfather. Felt peace. Pure, absolute peace. Then he'd reached into the afterlife and dragged me back like a fish on a hook. Back into pain. Into fear. Into the world of breath and blood and weight. Do you understand now? His voice was gentle, patient, almost kind. Death is peace. Life is pain. Every moment you breathe, you hurt. You fear. You lose. Death ends that. I nodded. Couldn't help it. He was right. Death had been peaceful. Being alive hurt. Good. He turned to my friends. Their bodies lay where they'd fallen. Mira face down. Kellen sprawled. Thessa on her side, sword just beyond her fingers. Now watch. He touched the wand to the ground. The earth split. 3 graves opened, perfect rectangles, 6 feet deep. My friends' bodies slid into them, gently, almost tenderly. The graves closed, soil pouring over them, sealing them in. The plane pressed down like a hand over a mouth. I heard wood bow, nails sing, a choking that could never finish, and voices rise thin and steady beneath it. "Stop," I croaked. "Please." "Stop? Why?" Orcus tilted his skull. "Their souls are preserved, intact. They'll exist here forever, contemplating their foolishness and challenging me. They'll never fade, never end. Isn't that what mortals want? To continue? That's not mercy. That's torture. Is it? Think carefully, Ranger. Which is worse? To end completely, to become nothing, or to continue forever in awareness? At least this way they exist. They think. They remember. They are. I tried to answer. My throat was too tight. Thanatos hummed like a hive under soil. Mira clawing at her coffin lid. Kellen praying uselessly. Thessa suffocating on repeat. Forever. Aware. Forever. Unending. "But I'm going to offer you something," Orcus said. He sat back on his throne, relaxed, like we were having a pleasant conversation. Something very few mortals ever receive, a choice, a real choice, with full knowledge of both outcomes. He held up the wand. The skull at its tip rotated, watching me, hungry. "Take this, wield it, use it to free your friends." "Free them?" My voice was a whisper. "Their souls are trapped in Thanatos, buried, aware, experiencing every moment of entombment, the weight of earth, the darkness, the inability to move or scream or die. But with the wand you could raise them. As undead, their souls would inhabit their bodies again. They'd walk, speak, exist. As your servants. As yours," Orcus corrected. "I'd grant you control. Temporary. You could command them. Bring them home. Explain what happened. Even unbind them eventually. Let them find peace. What's the catch?" "Catch?" He sounded amused. "There's no trick. You wield the wand, you raise your friends, you all leave together. Simple. And then? Then you live with what you've done. You've transformed your friends into undead. They'll remember everything, remember being alive, remember dying, Remember you raising them against their will. They'll blame you, hate you. They'll serve because you command, but every moment they'll wish they could end. He leaned forward. Right now they're suffering alone, in silence, forever. If you raise them, at least they suffer with purpose, with you. Consider companionship over isolation. Isn't existing as undead better than eternal burial? I stared at the wand. The skull pulsed, waiting, patient. Behind me, my friends pressed sound through soil, Mira's voice breaking, Kellen's prayers fragmenting into sobs, Thessa choking on earth that couldn't kill her. Why? I asked. Why offer this? Because I'm curious. I've ruled Thanatos for eons. I've seen every variation of death, but I've never seen this exact scenario. A survivor who could save his friends through damnation. What will you choose? I genuinely don't know. That's exciting. This is a game to you. Everything is a game when you're immortal, but this game has real stakes. Your friends are real. Their awareness is real. The choice is real. Take the wand and raise them, or refuse and leave them here forever. Either way, you pay. But understand, whatever you choose, you'll wonder for the rest of your life if you chose wrong. Wind moved through skulls and made a sound like teeth chattering. The thin voices continued. Mira, Kellen, Thessa, my friends, my family, suffering because of me, because I'd led them here, because I'd tracked Vrask to this cursed place. Can I ask something? I said. Of course. Why undeath? Why is that your domain? Orcus leaned back, interested. Because death is easy, natural. Everything dies. Where's the art in that? But undeath. Undeath is transformation. It's taking the end and making it a beginning. It's proving that even death can be overcome. Every creature fears death. That fear drives everything. Your wars, your loves, your gods, all of it running from the inevitable. But I offer escape. Die and rise again. Serve eternally. Never fear death because you've already passed through it. You make it sound noble. It is noble. Your friends could rise as intelligent undead. They'd retain their memories, their skills, their personalities. They'd just be free from pain, from aging, from mortality's weakness. They'd be corpses, puppeted by necromancy. And what are you now? Orcus asked. Meat puppeted by electricity, your brain firing signals to muscle, your already animated flesh. I just changed the animator. Your soul drives your body. Necromancy would drive it instead. The difference is technical. He was convincing. Gods help me, he was convincing. My head hurt. Frost collected on my eyelashes. The wand's skull watched without blinking. You're trying to trick me. I'm trying to help you see clearly. Right now, your friends endure entombment. Fact. You have power to end that state. Fact. The question is, why won't you? Pride, principle, fear? What moral high ground is worth their unending entombment? Because it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because they didn't choose it. They didn't choose death either, Orcus pointed out. I killed them. They had no choice in that. But you could give them choice. Raise them. Ask them. If they truly hate it, release them back to the graves. At least then they'd have decided. Right now, they have no voice, no choice, just burial. My head was spinning. The logic twisted, turned, made terrible sense. The gods, I started. The gods! Orcus laughed. Your gods abandoned you. Thessa called for Bahamut. Did he come? Kellen prayed to Moradin. Was he answered? Gods demand worship but provide nothing. I killed a paladin in full divine favor. Where was her god? Where was the rescue, the miracle? The gods abandoned you, he said softly. I don't. Every creature I kill, I keep. They're mine forever. That's not cruelty. That's devotion. That's actually caring enough to preserve them. I looked at the graves, at the 3 mounds of disturbed earth. I could still hear them, pushing sound through weight, begging. Let me see them, I said. What? My friends, let me see them. Orcus waved his wand. The earth turned transparent. Glass. I could see down into 3 coffins. Mira was clawing at the lid, her fingers worn to bone, still clawing, her glasses shattered, face pressed against wood, eyes wide, terrified, aware. Kellen had his hands folded in prayer, but his eyes were open, tears running down his cheeks. Moradin wasn't answering, would never answer. Not here. Thessa was face down. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe, didn't need to, but her body tried anyway. Over and over. Breathless movement without end. Stop, I said. Please stop showing me. I'm not doing anything. This is just existence in my realm. I could make it worse. Add pain, add heat, add insects eating them from inside. But I haven't. This is baseline. This is just being dead in Thanatos. And they'll experience it forever unless you change it. I reached for the wand. My hand shook, extended. Sweat froze on my palm. The skull at its tip pulsed. Cold radiated from it. I could feel power, vast, ancient, patient. My fingers were an inch away. Davrin. I froze. The voice was distant, muffled by 6 feet of earth, but clear. Thessa. Don't. You're entombed, I said. My voice cracked. Yes. Pain in that word. Years of pain compressed into 1 syllable. I can end it. Silence. Then, not like this. But you'll be trapped as you are. Better trapped as myself than free as something else. Please, Davrin, don't let him win. Win? I looked at Orcus. You call this curiosity. It's a contest. Yes, it is, Thessa said. Her voice was fading, weakening. He wants to corrupt you, wants to prove that even good people choose evil if the price is right. Don't give him that, please. And somewhere under soil, Thessa was still fighting, even buried, even suffocating forever, still fighting. But she was wrong. This wasn't about corruption. It was about mercy, about love, about doing the hard thing, the terrible thing, the thing that damned you but saved them. What if mercy means accepting damnation? I asked. Then you let us suffer, Thessa said. We chose to fight. We knew the risks. We died for what we believed. Don't undo that by making us into what we fought against. I can't leave you here. Yes, you can. You have to. I'm a paladin of Bahamut. Even here, even buried, even without breath, I'm still his, still sworn, still faithful. Don't take that from me. Don't make me into an undead abomination that violates everything I stood for. She's manipulating you, Orcus said. Fear talking, pride. She doesn't understand what she's refusing. I looked at the wand, at power, at the chance to save my friends. Then I looked at Thanatos, at the infinite graveyard, at the empire of entombment Orcus had built and called mercy, at the demon prince who'd made death into art and called it devotion. No, I said. No, I won't take it. Orcus tilted his skull. You'll leave your friends to eternal burial? They'd rather endure as themselves than exist as corruptions. You don't speak for them. Yes, I do. That's what friendship means. I know them. I know what they'd want. And they wouldn't want this. They'd hate what they'd become. They'd blame me. They'd be right to blame me. Even if they beg, even if they call for mercy, even then. Because mercy isn't giving them what they want. It's honoring what they chose. They chose to fight evil. I won't make them become it. For a long moment, Orcus said nothing. The graveyard was silent, except for the distant murmur of 10 million trapped souls. Then he laughed. Deep. Genuinely amused. Fascinating. You choose their entombment over their salvation. I choose their dignity over your version of salvation. Noble words. Meaningless, but noble. Will they comfort you when you hear them every night? When you know you could have saved them but chose not to? No, but they'll let me look at myself in the mirror. Orcus stood, towering, massive, ancient. Then leave, Ranger. Go back to your world. Live your noble life. Know that every moment you breathe, 3 people who trusted you press against wood and think in the dark. Every moment. Forever. I know. And you can live with that? I have to. He laughed again. You're more interesting than most. Very well. I'll give you a gift anyway, something to remember this choice by. He touched the wand to my chest, right here. This scar. Pain exploded. White hot, searing. I felt something carve into my skin. Burning. Permanent. A mark. A connection. A brand. So you never forget, Orcus said. So every time you see your reflection, you remember the friends you abandoned, and so you can hear them, always. Their voices will follow you home. My gift to the ranger who chose principles over people. I collapsed. The pain was everything, consuming. When I opened my eyes, I was back at the portal site, normal world, summer night, alone. This is where he took our names away. That was 5 years ago. I went back to their families, told them what happened. Most didn't believe me, said I was traumatized, making up stories to cope. Mira's parents blamed me anyway, said I should have protected her. They were right. Kellen's clan held a funeral. Empty coffin. Dwarven honor rites. They asked me to speak. I told them he died fighting evil. I told them he was brave. I didn't tell them he was still praying into a closed box. Thessa's order sent paladins through the portal. None came back. The portal sealed after that. I dream about them every night. Orcus's mark lets me hear Thanatos, lets me sense my friends. Mira has stopped clawing. Her fingers are bone now, but she's still aware, still trapped. Kellen still prays, even though no one answers. He prays because it's all he has. Thessa has started to crack. 5 years of breathless movement. 5 years of silence from Bahamut. She's losing herself. Becoming something other than who she was. And I could stop it. The mark isn't just a scar. It's a key. I could return to Thanatos. I could take the wand. I could raise them. Every night I think about it. What if my choice, my noble choice, is just ego? Just me preserving my righteousness while 3 people I love endure eternally. Thessa said, "Don't take the wand." But that was 5 years ago. She had hope then. Hope someone would rescue her. Hope her God would intervene. Does she still have hope? Or has Thanatos crushed it? Would she thank me for respecting her choice, or damn me for listening? I don't know. That's the real torture. Never knowing if I chose right. Sometimes I think about what Orcus said, about undeath being transformation, about life being weight and fear. He wasn't completely wrong. Every day we hurt, we fear, we lose. Death ends that. And if undeath brings consciousness back but removes pain, removes aging, removes fear, then maybe it is mercy. Maybe Orcus is the only honest one. The gods promise afterlives, but provide no proof. They demand faith without evidence. At least Orcus delivers what he promises. You die, you continue, forever, aware, certain. Is that really worse than nothingness? Than the possibility that death is just end? My faith used to be simple. Good was good. Evil was evil. But Orcus showed me it's complicated. He's evil by definition. Demon Prince, Undeath, Abyss. But his logic makes terrible, seductive sense. What if the difference between good and evil isn't what you do, but why you do it? Same act. Different motivation. Last week I went to the portal site. Stood there 6 hours. Had a dagger. Cut my palm. Drew runes in blood. The symbols Mira taught me. Back when we were alive. Almost opened it. Almost went back. But I heard Thessa's voice in memory. Don't let him win. So I stopped, went home, bandaged my hand, tried to sleep, dreamed of Mira. She was looking at me through the earth, through the plains, her eyes accusing. You could save us, she said. You just choose not to. I woke up gasping. Was that really her voice, or my guilt, or Orcus reaching through the mark, planting doubts? I don't know. I never know. Here's what I learned from facing Orcus. There are choices where every option is wrong. Not hard, not complicated, just wrong. I could take the wand, raise my friends, they'd exist again. But corrupted, changed, something wearing their faces. They'd resent me, they'd endure differently, or I refuse. Let them stay in Thanatos. Honor their choice, respect their dignity, but condemn them to endless burial because I'm too principled to do the evil thing that might actually help. Both choices involve pain, here or there. Both involve betrayal. Both haunt me. I chose virtue, but I'll never know if I chose mercy. If you ever face Orcus, understand this. He won't seduce you with power. He'll seduce you with logic, with philosophy, with arguments that make sense. He'll take everything you believe about good and evil and show you the cracks, the contradictions, the places where morality doesn't have answers. And the worst part? He's right about some of it. Not all, not most, but enough to make you doubt. That's the real power of the Demon Prince of Undeath. Not his wand, not his magic. His ability to make you question if good and evil are even real categories or just labels we put on things we don't understand. I still have the mark, the scar, the connection to Thanatos, the nightly reminder that 3 people I love are thinking in darkness and I could stop it. Some nights I think I'll do it. I'll go back, take the wand, damn myself if that's what it costs. Other nights I think I made the only choice I could, that Thessa was right, that preserving their souls intact, even in entombment, is better, has to be better, than dragging them back as something wearing their faces. Most nights I drink and try not to listen. It doesn't work. The mark hums. The graveyard answers. I count to 3 and picture their hands. I tell myself I made the only choice I could live with. Then I remember Orcus laughing. This is what he left me with. Not chains, not orders, not a geas, doubt. A thread tied from my chest to 3 boxes 6 feet down on a plane that refuses endings. He knew it would pull every time I breathe. Pour me another drink. If you ever find a portal to Thanatos, and a voice like a tomb opening offers you a choice that sounds like mercy, remember this. He doesn't need you to kneel. He only needs you to waver. He let me go because uncertainty hurts longer than death.